Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today we're looking at Anubismon, Gizmon Loop, Purple Hybrid, all the labels attached to it. It's just so many things in one. This kind of spawned out of talking with Kavinsky about some Purple Hybrid decks, and I thought it was super cool, and I wanted to make a profile for it. He said it was cool, so we're going to go ahead and look at something. So, for our eggs, 4 copies of BT16 Cupimon. On deletion by trashing a card in your hand, gain 1 memory. We have lots of ways to sack rookies in this deck, and this is just a way to get free memory. We're either going to net the memory off of chip damage, we're going to net the memory off of popping our level 3s, or this is just going to get trashed as an egg because of Gizmon, and then it doesn't really matter. But it's really, really useful. Trashing the card is actually really, really important in this deck because we want to get lots of Gizmon pieces in the trash, so that's going to be really, really important for us. And then I am running 1 copy of the DemiMeramon from BT3, triggers draw 1, trash 1. On deletion, we do want 5 eggs because we do have the ability to pop our own eggs with Gizmon, and we have the Ukkomons in here, so we're going to be burning through these eggs like they're candy. Starting with the rookies, 4 copies of BT13 ProtoGizmon. When you would play this card, you can delete a level 2 Digimon in the breeding area to reduce the play cost by 2, so that's how we sack our egg to get Gizmon for 1. On play, you draw 1, trash 1. You cannot evo on any of the Gizmons. And then on deletion, you can return 2 Gizmon in their names from your trash to the bottom of the deck in any order to play a Gizmon AT from your trash without paying the cost. We are going to be trying to mill ourselves with the Purple Hybrid engine to get lots of Gizmons in trash to then go into the old Anubismon to get some rush bodies on board and close out the game. So that is what this card is fulfilling as a function. Also, paying 1 to draw 1, trash 1 in a deck archetype that already wants to mill itself out is just efficient cycling. It's really, really nuts. 2 copies of ST16 Gabumon. This was my rookie of choice to round out our rookie count. You could go Floodgates here, but I really like the memory that this gives start of your main phase. If your opponent has a Digimon, you gain 1 memory. That coupled with the Cupimon egg kind of guarantees you can never ever be choked to 1, because you're either going to get 1 off of this and then sack it to get another memory off the Cupimon and you'll be at 3, or, you know, you won't if they don't have a Digimon to play. But I think it's a great rookie to have. The Inheritable comes up sometimes. You don't really Evo on it too much, but draw 1, trash 1 can come up if you go Loweemon or Duskmon on top of this. But just a great rookie to fill out our rookie count. And then we have the 4 copies of BT16 Ukkomon. When you promote, you get to reveal top 3, get a Digimon and a Tamer, rest go bottom, and then you hatch in the breeding area. Sorry, I think I said Digimon and Tamer. It's Digimon or Tamer. But this is really, really necessary in your Purple Hybrid engines. It finds Tamers and it finds Digimon, both of which you need to do your Purple Hybrid combos. So we want to see this in our starting hand as often as possible, and that's why we have 4 copies of it. Moving on to our level 4s. 4 copies of Gizmon AT for BT13. I just closed the card. When you would play this card by deleting a level 3 Digimon, you can reduce the play cost by 4. So if you do have a Gabumon chilling on the board, you have a ProtoGizmon or an Ukkomon, you can sack it to play this for 2, which is not a bad return rate, especially with the Cupimons underneath. You effectively get to play this for 1. So for 1 memory, you're going to get to draw 2, then trash 2. Fantastic cycling. Again, none of the Gizmon's Evo. And then on deletion, you can return 2 cards with Gizmon in their name from trash to bottom deck in any order to play a Gizmon XT from your trash without paying the cost. So effectively, if ProtoGizmon dies, it can come into AT if you have the pieces in the trash. And then if AT dies, it can go into XT if you have the pieces in the trash, which is how our loop is going to work. Next, we have 4 copies of BT18 Duskmon. If you've seen Purple Hybrid, you know how this goes. On Evo, you're going to change the color of one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and then when attacking, you Evo into a Digimon or Tamer with the hybrid trait in the trash with the cost reduced by 1. Effectively, this just goes into Velgrmon in the trash for 1 when you attack, and on deletion, you play a Tamer card with play cost 4 or less from trash without paying the cost. That's how we're going to loop. We're going to swing Evo into the Velgrmon, we're going to mill cards, and we're going to get our Tamers back. That's how we're going to get Gizmons in the trash, ideally. Next, 3 copies of the Velgrmon from BT18. On play, and when Evo for each color your opponent's Digimon Tamers have, you trash 1 card from the top of both players' decks. For each card milled, you get 1k DP. That's how this guy gets big. He mills lots of cards. And end of attack, you can delete a level 4 or lower purple Digimon to delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. Something really important with the Velgrmon Gizmon synergies is actually if you have a Anubismon on board and you're trying to loop, and your Gizmon or Gizmon AT don't die on the swing, and you have the Tamer and the memory, you can go into the Velgrmon or the Duskmon swing, and then end of attack, the Velgrmon can also pop the ProtoGizmon or the Gizmon AT and continue your loop, which is a really, really valuable tool to have. And it lays down a lot of offensive pressure, as well as clearing smaller bodies out of the way, which you also have to love. So, just thought I would mention that. 3 copies of BT18 Loweemon. When Digivolving, draw 1, trash 1. When attacking, one of your Digimon or Tamers may Evo into a purple or yellow hybrid in the trash. This is mostly just for the cycling, and also because we do have the option to warp into the Rhihimon, but it is great. The Inheritable also says when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by effects, you play a Tamer card with Inheritables from its sources without paying the cost. It guarantees your Tamers have some sticking power if you do Evo on them with the Loweemon. We have 2 copies of the KaiserLeomon, mostly for the warp play with the Rhihimon. It has Retaliate and on play on deletion. Sorry, on play when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower. The Retaliate comes up sometimes. Most of this clears out level 4s, or we use it for the Rhihimon warp play. Moving on to level 5s, we have a bit of a weird level 5 package. I will explain, I swear. 2 copies of Gizmon XT. When you would play this card, you can delete a level 4 to reduce the play cost by 6, especially because we are running Jax Raid in this deck. This can come up sometimes to help continue your loop, like I was saying. This has blocker, which is also important because it gives you some defensive pressure. Your on play lets you play Akihiro, which we don't run. He can't Evo, and then on deletion, you play a ProtoGizmon from trash without paying the cost. There are no bottom decking required for that effect, which is really important because you just have to have the 1 ProtoGizmon in your trash in order to resolve this effect, which is fantastic for us. 2 copies of Cerberusmon from BT16. On play when digivolving, you return a Digimon card with Dark Animal or Shaman from trash to the hand. This is fantastic because if you mill your Anubismons, you can grab them back with Cerberusmon, which is super important. Your turn, once per turn, when an effect plays one of your Digimon gains Rush for the turn. Super good if you have to sack something to continue your loop. You can give Rush back to the body. Also, we have the Anubismon from EX5 in this deck, so if you play Digimon with the effect that way, this is a good way to give that Rush as well. We have 1 copy of the Cerberusmon X-antibody. On play, you play a level 3 purple Digimon from trash without paying the cost, and then when digivolving, draw 1, then trash 1 in your hand. If a card with Cerberusmon is in its sources, you get the on play. What I really want to run this card for is the when attacking once per turn by deleting one of your other Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon. Sometimes your loop does not go through. You swing, your Gizmon doesn't die, and you're kind of stuck. This is a good way to continue the loop. You can swing, pop the Gizmon, unsuspend, you get the extra damage, and your loop continues. So that's a really important card. There's only space for 1. If I could make space for 2, I would run it, but 1 will have to do. We can grab this back with Cerberusmon as well. We can grab this back with Ishida. There's lots of ways to get this card back from the trash, so we're not super worried about milling it. 2 copies of the Rhihimon. You can warp into this by placing Loweemon and KaiserLeomon from your trash under one of your purple or yellow tamers. To Evo for 3, it has jamming and it plays you a tamer card with inherits from your trash without paying the cost on Evo. Just great all around. Being able to warp into this and then go into Anubismon if you have the memory from the Jax Raid play is a great way to just win the game basically from 1 tamer on board, which is awesome. And then the inherit gives -4k, just clears out chumps. We have 4 copies of the BT4 Anubismon. This is what we are talking about when we talk about Gizmon loop. When digivolving, you play a level 3 Digimon from your trash up, paying its memory cost, and then your turn when a Digimon is played from the trash, that Digimon gains Rush for the turn. So basically when you're Gizmon looping, you play out the Gizmons from the trash, you're giving them all Rush with the Anubismon effect. So it doesn't do anything with the Cerberusmon from BT16 because you would already be giving them Rush, but that kind of doesn't matter because the Cerberusmon is insurance for the EX5 Anubismon. This is just its own engine, doing its own thing, and it is really good at what it does. For our level 6s, again, just 1 copy of the EX5 Anubismon. You trash 3 in your hand on Evo and on main, then play a purple Digimon card with the cost reduced by 3, plus 1 for every card you discard. So just basically playing free Digimon. When an effect plays one of your Digimon, you delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower. If it doesn't delete, you draw a card. So good way to put cards in your trash, good way to get extra bodies on the board, and also to pop level 5 or lower Digimon. For our options, 3 copies of Jax Raid, gain 1 memory for every 10 cards in your trash, and then the security effect gains you 2 memory. This is how we are hopefully pushing for game with the Anubismon combo. 2 copies of Matt Ishida because you need it for the purple hybrid loop. You play this back with the Duskmon to grab the Duskmon back, and then you can keep doing that every turn in order to continue milling cards. This also grabs you back a purple Digimon or option, so if you do need to grab back the Cerberusmon, you can do that in order to get into the Anubismon and close out the game. 3 copies of the BT7 Koichi Kimura. On play, you draw 1, trash 1, and then on deletion, you gain a memory. Just a good way to cycle cards and a good way to get memory back when you swing with a hybrid that dies. Lastly, 4 copies of the BT18 Koichi Kimura. Start a main phase, you can trash a card with hybrid or 10 warriors trait in your hand to gain a memory, and when attacking, you return a card with hybrid or 10 warriors trait from trash to hand. We really want to be trashing Velgrmon or KaiserLeomon with this card. You can also trash the Rhihimon so that you can Evo into it when you swing with Loweemon, but you want to be sure you're keeping your Duskmons and probably your Loweemons in your hand, unless you have extra copies. So that is it for Gizmon Loop, Anubismon, Purple Hybrid, the supreme purple deck. You know, if you played against Gizmon Loop in the past, you know it can pop off pretty hard, and this profile is tons of fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you tried this? What are you doing with Purple Hybrid? I know we're getting pretty late into Sp.Booster 2.0, so maybe people are cooking, but let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you to our YouTube members for supporting this channel. It's people like Langlong, Big Z11, and Coffee Deus who make videos like this possible.